Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages. Welcome back to another edition of the Wolfpack Disc year-long fantasy disc golf league for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We're here with Zac O and your host, Brian Papa Wolf Frawley.
Zacchio. Zacchio, welcome. Also, Richard, according to YouTube, this is not for all ages, so you don't have to welcome all ages. You can just welcome adults,
What
according
do you
to
want to know
YouTube.
where?
I don't know what adult line is, but anyways, hey, Krokhol happened this weekend, and in no shocking news to anyone that's followed our fantasy disc golf league this year. Yeah, I'm still in first.
Weird.
Yeah, weird. Brother Joel, uh, he's doing well, but unfortunately, he's getting closer to 50 points away from me now. Team Stamp Wes kind of slowing down a bit because Zacho is now one win behind Team Stamp Wes.
Uh-oh.
Weatherman Cam falls below Zacho. He claims he's dealing with heat exhaustion today. I heard he's scared of talking to Zach. That's what I heard. Richard, holding steady there in the 5-6 hole as usual. And Chris, I may show up later in the stream, is obviously the only other one paying attention to this game, I think. So look at all these people down here. They're not good anymore. They usually don't come on this stream anyways, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, we've got the European Open. European Disc Golf Festival. Sorry, I'm going to mispronounce that all weekend. This upcoming weekend, already seen some conversation about out of bounds lines, drop zones. It's going to be one worth watching if you've got that DGM Plus, I believe it's on. But more importantly, let's end this screen sharing. Let's get back to the group. Let's just talk about something that happened this weekend on a disc golf course. You see, I like to think that I understand a little bit how to market the game, just a little bit. I also understand that I think I know how to run a tournament, again, just a little bit. Don't know if having a cart drive uphill, people play down it. Having a cart drive uphill, people play down it. Having a cart drive uphill, people play down it. Having a cart drive uphill, people play down it. One more, I think. Having a cart drive up the hill, people play down it. No more carts. Okay. That was not the greatest television. Good job on the
No.
announcers keeping us engaged. I thought they did a great job. Way to throw it down to Perk. Way to throw it to the gentleman from PDGA Europe. Some of the American boys are in the circle, keeping people entertained. Cool that they were all hanging out watching. I thought that was sweet. But Zach, upon watching that, what was your first thought?
Well, I mean, I think that it's important for tournament directors to think about what happens in the event of a playoff ahead of time because you want to make sure that you have something in place so you don't have to scramble. And I want it to be intentional too. I think good tournament directors make it intentional in saying we're going to hit this part of the course because it's either convenient or because it's good scoring separation. And this and I'm not claiming they're being lazy, but it felt lazy in saying we're just going to replay 18. I don't think it's entertaining for the fan. I think that if one player, let's say a forehand only player, Andrew Marweed was in this playoff, and this hole is horrible for forehands, you're giving it to a person, right? Versus saying, hey, we have a 3-hole loop. Good example of that would be like D-Glow. You have to play down hole 1, across 17, up 18. There's versatility within those 3 holes that might favor one person over the other, and it's a bit of it's a tour up and down. Yeah, I didn't like the single hole. I agree with you completely. I think that the people who were around the event did the best they could to leave it engaging, send it in different directions. But I was disappointed to be like, we're going to see a hyzer. We're going to see this shot again. And then they're going to be by the basket. I mean, the only reason it stopped is because Yakub missed a 13-foot putt.
Yep.
That's the reason. It wasn't because the hole had great scoring separation and this guy kicked left early and he had to scramble. That's not why. Yakub lost focus and missed a 13-foot putt. That's why. And so I think that was not well planned in terms of entertainment of the fan or for the player. I didn't like that a lot.
Richard?
Yeah, he's basically said it all for me too. It's just like
Ooh.
there's no score separation, there's no intrigue. It's two big backhand hyzers and big landing zones, and then you just have to get your up shot, make a putt. And Jakub's miss wasn't even that terrible. It splashed out right and it hit pro side. Um, that was just like a little bit of a bad bounce for him, and that's all. That's how he lost the championship.
Yeah.
Um, Give me a par three and you got to park it through the woods. That's score separator.
Yeah, if you're gonna go with a one hole playoff on that course, I would argue it's hard not to pick hole one. We
Mm-hmm.
saw on coverage an ace on that hole this week. It wasn't match play, but we did see it. We also saw on coverage a double bogey by Ricky Wasaki. So there's definitely scoring
Mm-hmm.
spread on hole one. I would argue if you're gonna choose that, you choose that. All right, we're done being negative. Let's be positive. I got a little teary-eyed.
Oh, I'm not done yet, but okay.
I got a little misty-eyed. I got a little teary-eyed when Nate began to interview Ben Calloway, and Ben talked
Mm-hmm.
about being away from his wife and daughter, and all the people that supported him in his choices to do this. That just shows a man that just gets it. And man, I got a little misty-eyed as a guy that has a daughter about the same age. I've been a Ben fan almost the entire time he's been on tour. So congrats to him. That was super cool to see how human that post round interview was, especially after the daunting five car rides up the hill. That's gotta be so mentally straining. Zach, any takeaways from Ben's first win on tour?
Big congrats. I love to see another new winner on tour. Raises some questions about, if we're going to see more of this moving forward. Does the MPO field, is it compressing in, skill level? And so we're going to see this happen more
Mm-hmm.
and more often? Or is this just a byproduct of, the momentum of the year, right? Does Europe, and that's the other question in my head kind of pops up, but is European disc golf that general design is, made for competition to be closer, right? Is it designed better for better competition? So congratulations to him. I was not as happy. Ben's a great guy. Everyone loves him. I love him too. The other two guys in the playoffs happen to be on my fantasy team, so I was a little salty, but like for the wrong
You still
reasons.
won. Shut up.
I know, but like big congrats to Ben. But I was probably one of the only people in the world that was a little salty about him winning. But congrats to Ben.
You
Richard, we
still you
saw
still won the league this week. You're fine.
I did not.
I thought you did.
Richard, it updates officially on Tuesday morning. Zach and I have
Mm.
figured this out. That's going to level out every time, but we appreciate the fact that you, that was a burp, actually loaded up your computer, logged into Skip Ace, and visually have what we're talking about in front of you.
I'm
That is a
trying my
step in the
best.
right, that is a step in the right direction. If only we could get you to share it or tell people you do this every week. One day we'll get that. Anyways, we're gonna move past Richard on the FPO side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, but I drafted Holland in the first round for a reason, and Holland won again. But anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. She separates obviously from the field, ends up getting a four-stroke win. European Disc Golf Festival next week, a major. Is she the favorite? If you're making the bets, is she the favorite?
I think you would not be a smart person if you didn't if you had just to bet on somebody to win, it would be Kristen. After that,
Hold on,
I'm
hold
going
on, hold on, hold on. You used like 13 negatives, so Zach and I are still trying to figure this out. Are you saying, and I'm making an assumption here, that you still think that Kristen is the betting favorite?
yes.
Okay.
I think Colin is fourth.
Wow. Okay, well, this is not
You
where
want
the
to go there?
question
I'll
was
go there.
going, but well, yeah, let's go there. And Zach, obviously, I'm going to come to you here in a second with your four. This is your four favorites going into the European Disc Golf Festival this weekend.
Kristen,
Yes?
Silva,
Okay.
Evelina,
Okay.
then Holland.
Okay. Kristen, Silva, Evelina, Holland,
Mm-hmm.
Zachary.
I don't know if I can change any of those four. because I'd have to look a little closer into the course itself to know if like Missy or someone could sneak into that fourth over Silva. But I have Evelina 1, not close. I have Holland at 2, Kristen at 3 because she's been failing to finish late. And then I would put Silva right now in that discussion for 4, but there's a couple other names that kind of trickle in there depending on the course a little bit. So, the 4 names are fine, but I think it's Evelina, Gap, Colin,
Wow.
Kristen. I think I think there's a gap right now. I think it's huge.
Oh wow. I'm gonna go with
Brian,
Holland.
Brian,
Holland is.
do you agree with the same 4 people?
I think that Evelina, Kristen, and Holland are definitely in.
Who's also won a couple of pro tours and got second place last week.
I
She just had a bad last 9 holes, dude. She would have won. Silva.
uh,
I don't know what happened to her on the last 9 holes. That was not how she usually plays, though.
Wait a minute,
listen.
9.
Yeah, wasn't she
I,
winning after 9 or
Hold
tied?
on. That's the one division.
In the last round, I think she was in the lead for a minute.
No, she's like tied for the lead up until 16. Holland
Yeah,
doesn't extend her lead until late.
There you go. So even later than what I was saying. Sure.
well, I guess for the sake of the argument, I'm gonna disagree with the fact that, listen, she's a great player. She's really good, obviously. Uh, she hasn't finished well. I'm not saying it's a pattern, but we've seen it before. And next week is a major. And Zach, is there usually more money at majors?
There is usually.
I gotta go with Big Money Missy then. Big Money Missy at a major. So I will go in my order is gonna go Evelina, Holland, Kristen, Missy. So Zach, you and I are really you know what? I'm gonna put Holland first just to be different than Zach because it was
Okay,
like a real it
there we
was a
go.
coin flip anyway. So yeah, well it'll be interesting to see that. But you know, now let's talk about 2 that maybe aren't on our list, people we haven't talked about. I I think it's can I don't think it's going to be those 4 or 5 people in the top 5, but yeah, obviously there's going to be someone that sneaks in. There always is someone that sneaks in.
Yeah.
I think the hot pick right now would be Cadence. That's I think anyone would say, yeah, she's playing hot right now. She had a great final round, set the course record. But my random thought is played consistent last couple of weeks. KT Tati, it would be great to see her
Yeah.
get up there and shoot well. And then I'm gonna butcher the name. Hold on. Um,
Ida?
nope. Uh, Anili Tagias
Yeah,
Manasti.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Annalie. I think it's
So
like
yeah,
Annalie?
Annalie.
I think it's
Annalie.
Annalie. Yep.
Annalie.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that, Annalie. If
Oh.
not that you would ever see this, but
She's gonna see it now.
she's been on my fantasy team. I'm a big fan, so I'm glad I can now say her name. But yeah, she was top 10-ish, and then I think fell off the last couple of holes. But she's been playing well as well. So what about you, Richard? If you're gonna pick somebody that's not named the 2 people that I just said, who would you pick?
Yeah. It depends on the course again. I'm not really sure, but let's go with Paige Pierce. She had a great last round.
She did have a great restaurant, made some extra monies.
So
Made some extra
maybe
monies on that final day.
she's finding her form again. She's definitely been a little bit out of the spotlight compared to all the years past, and I think might be getting a little chip on her shoulder as far as like, oh, these young girls are coming up. We need to get our shit together. And I could see her coming out, and she does have the ice in the veins still, I think. And she knows the pressure, all the money on the line. So if anyone's there at the last couple holes and needs to be calm under pressure, it's her.
Zachary?
I'll add to page 2. I think that she might be on a revenge tour because of her injury from last time she was in Europe. I think she wants a little get back just emotionally. So if she does surge, that might be a motivation. But for me, I'm going to stick with Europeans as well. So Ida, again, I'm going to butcher everything. I think she's been a surprise pick. She's been competing. And then the name that I'll, especially in Europe, I can't just not say is Rachel Turton. She's
Yeah.
always compete, like every single time she
You
isn't contending for the win, there's always a gap, right? Where it's like these four women are all tight for the win, then there's a score gap and everyone else, and she's always leading or one stroke off of that. And so she's super consistent. She just like is that one step away from trying to get into that upper tier, and I gotta leave her in that conversation because if she figures it out during the next couple majors, she could be a name.
so like describing Rachel like that, you made me think of Anakin STEM, um, Skywalker, if you will. She's
Yep.
also like one of those. She's always Anakin Skywalker, Vader, but she's always like steady. She's always like top couple cards. She's won once or twice on the tour already. So I'd put her over Turton, to be honest, as far as the experience and skill in general. I don't know how it holds up for a lefty at that course. So
It is always a question, and we'll be able to see a preview here in the next couple days. I leave you with one final question on FBO before we bounce back over. Uh, who's going to finish higher, Ella Hansen or Henna Blomroos? Just
I'm just gonna.
if if you had to put maybe a crisp American dollar on it, would you say which one? Zachary?
Hannah even playing. I'm looking at the list right now. Oh, there
Uh,
she is.
I'm picking Ella.
Same.
Okay. Well, our viewers will be happy to know that I'll take Henna just for the bets, boys. Let's make it interesting this weekend. Papa's got no problem being in the house. Let's continue down our questions. Thanks, producer Zach, for putting some questions in together. Let's see. Here we go. Zach wants to ask this question. Are the Americans um doing underperforming, or are the Europeans overperforming when it comes to top tens? There's also an asterisk there that says, "Hey Zach, two Americans won this weekend." Zach, talk to us about this.
Okay, so I think part of that question derived from I had several conversations. I was at Greater Peoria Open this last weekend filming, and several people talked about how Mari Vilman's tour win doesn't count because there were no Americans there. So it's an asterisk kind of tour, right? Because it wasn't a full field. And then I brought back the point. I was like, well, in last event, half of the top 10 were Europeans. In this event, two of the three playoff people were Europeans. Again, a high finish, I think sixth in the top 10. So if that is the trend here, then Mauri's championship is valid. It's not, there is no asterisk to be had if everyone who's competing is there. Like when I'm thinking 2017, 2018, if Paul went over to Europe and he loses to someone, no one would go, well, Ricky wasn't there, so therefore it didn't count. You beat Paul, and Paul's the best player in the world. No questions asked. If half of the best players in the world, according to these last couple events at least, are competing at the highest level for a championship, two strokes separated first and eighth. Like, if that's all there, then how can we not count that? And so for me, I think the Europeans have overperformed, I guess, but the reality is that we're just surprised at how good they are. I think we're anticipating, oh, we always beat them, in the President's Cup, whatever. And now they're like, we're better than you think. And
Mm-hmm.
Americans are kind of getting shock punched a little bit, at least from that perspective, of saying we should be taking 8 of the top 10, 15 of the top 20, and now all of a sudden it's nope, half and half. Jakub Samrad competed for a win. Like, what's happening here? And it's because I think they're better than people are giving credit to. So I think you could say the Europeans are overperforming, but I think they're better than the Americans are giving respect to in the European field.
Let's start talking about like the Silver Series events in America that none of the Europeans are really at. Only a few, maybe. And do you call that a Pro Tour win? Yes. So what's the difference? Like they really don't think the Europeans are as good because we just don't see them as much. But I mean, if you look at especially the women though, like the women are, I think, way more on par than the men still, but the men in Europe are coming, and they're coming hard.
Congrats to them. So Zach's disappointed, I guess
Didn't even think about it until I saw
is
your face.
Zach's disappointed as we see, unfortunately. But Zach's big question at the end, the tour is about to experience two back-to-back majors, 9 days of play through an 18-day calendar, one weekend break in between, not including doubles and extra events. Have we ever seen something so demanding with the players? What do you think will impact who do you think it will impact the most? I'll answer that. Uh, who's ever filming, working, setting up, taking down the course, all
Perkins.
the behind the scenes people, the guy on the phone right now that's still getting last minute sponsors for this event, security, all those things. Not that playing isn't hard and challenging, but that's who it will impact the most because it's probably not what they do every single day of their life. Uh, that was my caveat. Richard, what's your 2 cents on the craziness that we'll see in the next 3 weeks?
I was just thinking about how many miles do you think Phil Deloney is going to be walking? He's gonna be over there, so that's. I was just thinking about his crazy ass. Just he can't stop, so he's gonna be. But I think it's gonna affect just in general the older players, physically, but mentally the younger ones, the less experienced ones. These guys, the older players, are more used to the grind mentally. But then again, I mean, we're old now, and you feel it a lot more than we used to 15 years ago when we were like 25. So I'm kind of weighing the good and the bad with experience versus physical, just being able to walk
So
however many.
what Richard is saying is he has no idea what he's saying.
No
Zach, what do you
idea.
got?
You
Same as
know,
always.
I keep thinking about Isaac Robinson a lot
Okay.
when thinking about these 9 days because Isaac Robinson has won last two worlds. And I
Yep.
think part of that is because Isaac is incredible at marathons and less good at sprints, right?
Yeah.
If you give him 5 rounds, he goes 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, he shot 35 under. While
Yeah.
you get guys like Ricky Wisaki who went 12, 12, 3, 4, right? And all of a sudden they're competing and Isaac's going to outlast it. And so like a guy like Isaac, he has to show us either he has the marathon ability and will dominate for another world title with this because he's just gonna be able to do it, or does he burn out late and there's another person who can do like this might be Calvin's year. This sounds like a really weird take, right? He's a guy who you play 4 rounds with, he sucks at one. But if you give him 9 and 18 days and everyone else does it, he's there. He's in the mix. If everyone's forced to have a crappy round because they're all tired out,
Mm-hmm.
Calvin's there. So, like to me, those are the guys I keep out of my head. Isaac's either going to run away with it because he's just the running man, or you're going to get a guy like Calvin, who we've always argued can't perform in long-term events, is going to be in the mix because neither can anyone else when it's 9 days, of competition in 18-day calendar days. So that's what keeps thinking in my head. I'd like to see how that plays out. I don't know how to play out, but that's what my brain kind of goes to.
Okay. Well said. Here's my balance. I think Richard was trying to say that the older people are mentally stronger. The younger
Mm-hmm.
people are probably physically stronger. But I think experience is a big teacher in moments like this. So I
Mm-hmm.
look at some of the old heads, and I'm not saying these people are going to win, okay? But I bet you're going to see people like Paul Uwari, Nicola Castro, Greg Barsby, like all score
Si-
real well because it was
Simon.
back in the day where you got to be on your grind and you're going B tier to B tier every weekend and things like that. And I think that you were going to see some old heads. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe a Paul Macbeth that win.
Can I twist that a little bit?
Sure.
To me, it sounds like I'm going to use an FPO as a comparison here that we'll see the youth of Silva push in the first major here. She's going to be looking to attack, but we're more likely to see Kristen finish better late because her experience is going to know where to kind of touch and ease off that gas pedal a little bit so that she can, that experience kicks in. Is that what I'm hearing here?
Yeah, I definitely think that you're gonna have to really watch the crowds on the last 2 days because most of these
Mm.
players have never played in front of the crowd that they're about to play. They're
Oh
never
yeah.
gonna see the fanfare that they get. This is the closest thing to, a rock concert for some of these players. So, I hope everyone takes full advantage of it and gets a good night's sleep.
I mean, I'm being a homer, a Michigan homer here, but I mean, Kyle Klein, he hasn't done a whole lot this year, but he's always been kind of around. And I know, I'm just saying, like,
He showed
he's
up at
a,
this last one.
I
Yeah,
know, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like, he is one of those young bucks who's been there. He's been at the toboggan at D-Glow with the giant
Hmm.
crowd. He's he's been in these big situations, USDGC. So he's got that young spunk and energy and just general physical prowess, but then he's also got the up here. So
All right, I leave you with the final question. Two MPO players from outside of the United States that you expect to do well this upcoming weekend. Two MPO players from outside the United States that you expect to do well. Zach, you look so excited. Go.
I got them both, Mari Villman and Laurie Letman.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Well, you've got one of mine, Richard. Go ahead.
I think if you don't pick Nicholas first from a overseas person, then you're not, and that's the obvious choice. I'll go with a deeper cut though. His name Davidson, Daniel Davidson,
Danielle
on,
Davidson.
on my team too.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I like. I saw him a little bit the last couple weeks. I
Very
think
good.
he's yeah. And he's from what, like Finland or something.
Richard,
Either way,
I don't
he's
know.
used to the woods,
Stop
and
just
he'll be
guessing.
there.
Um, my two picks will be Zach, obviously Larry Lightning. I think that he's just
He's very
man,
good.
yeah, he's so good. You just gotta learn to play on tour, bud. You're gonna be awesome. And then
He's this too.
you're right.
Who'd you
He's
say?
Lowry Lightning,
He's just
Lightning,
getting better.
Yeah.
and then European born, been on tour a long time.
Oh,
A little gray in the tooth.
Simone.
Simone. To me, Simone
Yeah, I
was
said him earlier.
uh I think that this could be something that we
On
see him
my
do
team
well.
too.
Well, that would be
Well,
great
fuck
for
your team,
Zach.
Zach.
At this point though, I'm beat. I'm excited to watch this week. Thanks for being here, everyone. Richard promises to share this at least twice this week. Zach, keep doing you, buddy. Great to see you. Go Tigers, go Mets, go
Enjoy the All Star game.
Go
We got
Kalamazoo Growlers,
we
Zach.
have
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to
force.
post a video where I was there at my own personal channel this Tuesday, which will
Nice.
probably be like 2 days ago. But you know what I mean.
Go follow
Tigers
Zach.
four starters. Four. It's gonna be great.
We're
Go watch
so
the home
happy
run
for
derby.
those four.